Hi everybody and welcome back to the next Civ Spotlight. Now we're up with, let me double check, Malay. And Malay are probably one of the biggest winners in the recent patch. Let's take a look at their tech tree and then pull out a calculator and do a little bit of maths, because I think that this civilization has a bonus which actually does affect the standard build orders. Let's take a look. Advancing to the next age, 66% faster. Now that's a pretty crazy bonus, and some bonus that will definitely affect the build orders. My thoughts on this are as follows. As I'm advancing faster, that's of course good because my town center is, so to speak, less idle and will be able to resume villager production faster. But build orders actually calculated the advancing time to the next age in. So that means if I'm going 20 pop scouts or something, I actually do need the time that my TC is idle to be able to produce villagers or to produce scouts or to do whatever I want to do. This bonus actually makes it so that I need to have different build orders to factor in the time that I'm up faster, and I think eventually it's going to be better. The only thing is I need more food along the way. Fish traps are very good if I have access to ponds and fish traps, but on Arabia I think this is less relevant, as for instance on Black Forest or on water maps. And then, yeah, then comes the crazy strategy thing about battle elephants, which are an option, about infantry, which is an option. And this next bonus, infantry armor upgrades free, is what they recently just received, and which is pretty amazing. I think especially for their men-at-arms rush, because men-at-arms are pretty annoying to clear with scouts, and they are also pretty annoying to clear with archers once they have their armor in their PS armor. And yeah, so that could actually make for a very annoying, harassing man-at-arms rush, which is not too easy to clean. And so yeah, let's do the math about the build order thing here. Let's take a look at Age Wiki, which will tell us that research time for feudal age is 130 seconds. If it's 66% faster, that means that okay, how is this calculated? 66% faster means that it is only 33% of the research time. Does that make sense? So if I calculate 130 by 0.33, I arrive at something like 42.9, which let's say is 33 seconds. Let's make 120 minus 120 minus 33 is the time that I'm saving. It's 77 seconds, so that is about 3 villages. Is that even possible? I think I'll just very quickly, can I do that in the scenario editor actually? I think I can. Let's try this to get a clearer and more definite result on this. I'm not Spirit of the Law by any means, but I want to get this right though. Editors. Create scenario. I want to have a town center here. Building town center. And I want to be players. Starting age, dark age, that's good. I need food about 500. And I need, as a civilization, I need Malay. And then I need buildings that will allow me to advance to the next age, which is, for example, lumber camp and mining camp. And then let's do the test. So, a generic civilization will need 130 seconds, which equals 1 minute, 2 minute and 10 game time. And now I think I'll be somewhat faster than this. So let's say I'm saving 130 seconds minus the time that it takes. And it was, yeah, let's keep it simple and say it's just 1 minute 20, even though it was 1 minute 19 or something, but I think that doesn't matter. So that is actually 200 seconds? No, it's 60 plus, it's 80 seconds. Nice. So I'm saving 50 seconds, which is exactly 2 villages. Okay. That's crazy. So I'm in, considering that I would be able to, or considering that I were able to produce villagers all the way, I'd be 2 villages ahead by the time I reach feudal age. But I think I won't be able to sustain constant villager production if I go, for example, 20 pop up for scouts or something, and will not have the wood that I need to have to make my military buildings. So what I think is that I need to go up. If I want to play like 20 pop generic feudal, I'd rather play 22 pop generic feudal and then go up. And as for example 22 pop man at arms, I'd rather go like 24 pop man at arms, if that makes sense. Now I'm actually a little bit undecided where to send the additional villages. I think I would have to send them to food because I need more food. And yeah, this could actually be crazy. Let's try this out in the versus the AI. And let's think about a couple of build orders here. So I think as I have a pretty significant bonus on the man-at-arms, and as this Civ is generally geared towards archer play, I think the generic opening of man-at-arms into archers is pretty strong versus yeah, basically everything. I'm trying to think of a scenario where I don't want to open man-at-arms archers, but probably even against Mongols, and then having my defensive man-at-arms rush or something like that, just because I want to make use of that bonus. And I think with the armor upgrade, they can actually compete with Burmese, because they get the attack bonus and, well, they get the armor bonus, so they basically trade evenly. I don't know how they trade against Japanese men-at-arms, but I think that Japanese men-at-arms will come out on top, but maybe not as significant as that it would really matter. So I think I can go this infantry armor upgrade men-at-arms against basically any civ, even those with strong men-at-arms rushes. And I don't know, against an archer civ like, for instance, Britons, that will have archers up really fast. They can, of course, clean them. I might just have to go back when they have archers out and I'm unable to find any more damage. But that's also what I can do, and then I have them at home, and yeah, it kind of keeps me safe until I have my own range out, and then I can, for instance, add skirmishers. So I don't really see a scenario where I'm opening anything else on an open map like Arabia than men-at-arms with Malay. Going for straight archers or for scouts doesn't really make sense to me with that bonus, especially the food eco is a little bit off, so that opening scouts doesn't make sense to me. And yeah, I think opening something like archers in a team game, of course, but yeah, doing 22 pop straight archers could also be an option. So I think I'm going to try to figure out the build orders for this kind of openings. Let me quickly also think about the game plan. So once I have the opening figured out, more or less on a range in feudal age, which lets me produce archers and skirmishers if I need to defend. Yeah, and then I reach castle age and would pretty much try to play a stock standard archer game. If I'm somehow forced into skirmishes by a stronger archer civ, or if I'm forced into the defense, maybe with pikemen or something, if I'm overwhelmed by archer numbers, that's okay. I don't mind doing that. But that opens up a unit switch for me once I lose the archer mass to the elite and to the battle and to the elite battle elephant. They are of course pretty trash because they're like both armor upgrades, but still they are very cheap and very pop efficient. So a combination of battle elephants and skirmishes in theory should still be a pretty nice army. And backing this up with siege for the late game could be good. My final army comp could be something like Halberdier as a trash unit. I don't have Hussar, I don't have good... Oh, the light cav, forget about this. It doesn't... Not Bloodline's probably the worst light cav of the game. But my final army comp could be something like Elite Skirmisher, Halberdier, Capped Ram. Yeah, like post-imp, if gold runs out, doesn't really look too good for this civ. What about the Karambits? They also received a buff, I think. And they're not really expensive. Forced Levy, Militia Line, gold cost is replaced by additional food cost. Are there upgrades available in the blacksmith? Let me double check. Where can I see the blacksmith? I can see it here. Yes, so infantry armor is full, and as I want to be on Halberdier as my main trash unit anyways, because I simply lack any other trash unit. Also, fully upgraded skirmishers, yeah. So I might consider the Forced Levy and tack into 200 swordsmen, which will then, of course, have gambesons. Makes them a little bit better as before. And... yeah, the infantry upgrades are free, so it's a little bit easier to get into that. That's kind of how I want to approach it. Like, once I lose my archer mass and I can't follow the plan of Arbalester, Trap, and the complementary unit, be it either Halberdier or two-handed Trash Swordsman, then I go to Trash Swordsman and Skirmisher, Halberdier, Ram, something like that for the very super late game. But I could either try to hit a Arbalester or to play towards an Arbalester army, or play towards an elite battle elephant army. So Arbalester Halberdier makes sense versus archer civs, makes sense versus cavalry civs, and something like battle elephant skirmisher probably makes more sense versus cavalry civs. Just as a general... No, the other way around. Arbalester Halberdier versus Cavalry, and Elite Battle Elephant Skirmisher versus Archer. Something like that. Yeah, and now let's try to figure out the build orders for this. I think it doesn't really matter against what civ I'm playing. Aztecs are very likely to drush, but let's put it on random and also prepare for that. So what I'm thinking right off the bat, if I were to play Man-at-Arms with Malay, I would, in general, do the build order as per usual. Scout around a little bit here, scout around a little bit there. Let's see. That sheep can finish that wood line. That sheep can go here. Haven't decided on the wood line yet. Let me double check. I think I'm gonna take this front wood line. But this one looks very close. That's a good wood line. I'm gonna take that one. And then once I have 4 villagers on wood, I will get the first ball in. That ball makes sense to me because it's more forward. Next villager after ball makes 2 houses next to my berries. Probably also closing up that wood line already. Yeah, something like this. It's actually much more relaxed to not lure the second ball early, as I have a little bit more time to scout. I'm not pushing deer here, just to see if that works without deer. Now I'm getting the second ball at a better timing than I used to. Yeah, and now I think, oh, this is funny. I think with Malay I actually have to make an additional house because I'm making more villages. Now the next one goes to wood, makes barracks and wood, and goes to wood. And usually I would go up by this time now, but this time I don't do that. Now I make a barracks and 2 houses. Probably I can use that time to wall this up already. And then go to gold. I hope to find my enemies soon. Yes, I should have done the shift queuing stuff on my sheep. I didn't. That's bad. And now I get 2 more villages, and those will go to food. Yeah, and as I made an additional house, I'm now lacking a little bit of wood for this. So this is, in fact, actually a bit more of a tricky build. Last one goes here. At least I found my... So now that feudal age is in, I can already start to make militia, and I should. Because they're gonna be, because feudal age is going to be finished so fast that I need to do it. I need to get another wood line. Oh, that's 1 militia too many. And I need 2 farms. Okay. So, I think the build itself was okay-ish. What I instantly realized is that I usually would be at my enemy's base at 10:05 when I hit feudal, because I start to produce them earlier. That brings me to the idea that I should start to produce the militia actually earlier than clicking up to feudal age. Oh, but this can get tricky. Let me see if I'm able to find damage. If I just put them next to the berries, for instance. So if I now put them on defensive stance and put them where the berries are. Yeah, I didn't make the 2 farms. I think now I'm making them a little bit too late. That means I can have constant villager production. Now getting the... And I'm not gonna do much more with my man-at-arms just for the sake of this build order. Yeah, denying the berries is annoying enough for someone who is trying to play scouts. Now I focus on my macro rather and try to get about 6 farms out before I think about fletching. And now that my range is up, I make sure I do have 5 on gold. Now the next thing I'm going to do is blacksmith and fletching. Okay, I just insert this house because it just happens to be in a nice spot. And I think now I actually have a pretty solid eco. I don't have double axe though. I think once I have 8 farms up, I should prioritize these upgrades. Yeah, now he has archers, and that's the moment where I just simply step back when he's about to clean me up. And yeah, I have the blacksmith up, so I can get fletching now. He gets a tower on his berries, that's funny. Can wall this up then. Yeah, this villager, I don't know what this one's doing. As I'm playing against archers, it might make sense to add my own archer armor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, this is terrible. Now denying this stone for a while could also be helpful. 15, 16 farms, and then moving up to castle once I can afford wheelbarrow. Yeah, now he has a huge archer mass, so I should try to get away. Does he have armor? No, he doesn't have armor, so actually my archers are better for the time being. That's no human player would have done that, that's just the AI. And now I need a second archery range. Let me get this one here. You know what? I'm even getting this one here. So I can produce inside my ranges and don't even have to make a gate or something, which is another habit that I want to get rid of. Now I should in theory also hit a pretty decent castle age timing. And I need houses. I have too little on gold to make this work. And I don't have the gold upgrade. Don't even have the wood upgrade. I need to consider getting double axe as early as hitting the next age more often. But now crossbows in. And the next thing I will prioritize, of course, is Bodkin. Yeah, so much for the build order. So that's the man-at-arms kind of approach. What if I, for some reason, decide against man-at-arms? Because I have to admit the timing is a little bit off. And I just simply do 20 plus 20 plus 2 defensive archers, for instance. How does that work out? For that sake, I would, so to speak, make a 20 pop build. Take this wood line, get up here, and get these sheep back. Like, that's the first 6. That's my new approach to scouting. I hope that it will improve my scouting a little bit. Like, this sheep can already scout this. But now it should go back ASAP. So yeah, 3 on wood is fine for this approach. For the one range approach. And I go get the first boar. Let me get this one there. And then make the house next to the berries. And with Malay, I need to remember to make an extra house, which kind of messes with your food, with your wood eco. But that's just the way it is. And yeah, there is the next sheep. That's also nice. I can use this one to clean my dark spots up. Now I need to get the second boar and get ready to push a deer. Why haven't I sent one villager to pick up the second boar? What happened? Oh, I think I unfortunately queued her to the berries. Yeah, now the boar is in. The second boar is in at the right timing. I'm going to push a deer now. It's still early enough. And yeah, now the last 2 villages are going to go to wood. Actually, the last 2 villages are going to go to food. And I want to pretend I had yeah, these villager number 19 and villager number 20 going to food already. What? Yeah, so that's basically the up part of it. And now I need to make a lumber camp.
Apa sasananya baginda? Apa ngerti? Aku penumpang kayu.
And find my enemy. Get a barracks.
Siap, aku penumpang
Get a
kayu.
house.
Aku penumpang kayu.
Where is the enemy? He's making a barracks. What does that tell me with Burgundians? Basically nothing. Oh yes, I'm upping so fast that I actually need to get the barracks a little bit earlier. Now I'm overcompensating. I'm trying to get the range with 3 villages. And once the range is up, I need to make sure I have 5 on gold.
Apa sasananya baginda?
And now would be the timing where men-at-arms arrive at my base. I see the problem with this. Like, it's a little bit tricky to pull this off as clean as with other civs, and that actually makes it so that potentially my range could be denied if I'm not paying attention, and that would be a catastrophe, because then I can never get rid of the men-at-arms in my base. And I'm not making use of one of my bonuses. And what's the next thing? Yeah, it can also potentially be cut off gold. And if it's good, this is not working. I think I rather default for the man-at-arms opening with Malay to make use of the bonus. And I kind of have the feeling that even 22 pop-up is a little fragile on the eco side. Yeah, but just this is the rough idea that I have now of the civ, and yeah, then it's also an option to go for longswords and castle age. Let's just try it out on the ladder. Like, that's the information that I need for the civ.